Have you ever noticed something strange? Some people can sit alone, in silence, for hours. No music, no scrolling, no calls. Just them and their own thoughts, and they don't panic. Meanwhile, most people can't handle being alone for even 10 minutes without grabbing their phone like it's oxygen. So here's the real question. Why do some people feel peaceful when they're alone, while others feel anxious, restless, or even empty? Psychology has an answer, and once you hear it, you'll realize why only a small percentage of people truly know how to be alone. Let's break it down. 1. Most people aren't scared of being alone. They're scared of what they'll hear. When you're alone, there's no distraction, no social mask, no quick dopamine. It's just you. And that's exactly the problem, because the moment silence arrives, your brain starts playing everything you've been avoiding. Regrets, insecurities, old conversations, embarrassing memories, future fears. Psychologists call this self-awareness discomfort. It's the emotional pressure you feel when your mind finally has space to talk. And for a lot of people, being alone doesn't feel like peace. It feels like being trapped with the loudest person in the room, your own mind. That's why they reach for noise, not because they enjoy it, but because they're running. 2. The majority of people depend on external validation to feel real. This one hits hard. Many people don't feel fully alive unless someone is watching. A message, a like, a notification, a reaction, a sign that they still matter. That's social validation dependence. And it's not because they're weak, it's because they were trained that way. From childhood, most people learned, when you're alone, you're missing out. When you're quiet, you're unproductive. When you're not connected, you're irrelevant. So they don't just fear loneliness, they fear invisibility. That's why being alone can feel like a threat, not to the body, but to identity. People who handle solitude well don't rely on attention to feel valuable. Their self-worth doesn't disappear when the room is quiet. 3. Solitude requires emotional regulation, and most people never learned it. Here's the truth. Being alone isn't just a situation, it's a skill. Because when you're alone, you become your own emotional support system. There's no one to calm you down, no one to entertain you, no one to distract you from boredom. And boredom is not harmless. Boredom triggers anxiety in people who don't have internal stability. It forces them to confront, what am I doing with my life? Why do I feel this way? What if nobody wants me? That's why many people stay busy. Not because they're ambitious, but because they're emotionally escaping. The people who can handle being alone have something rare: emotional self-regulation. They know how to sit with discomfort without needing to run from it. 4. High solitude tolerance usually comes from high self-knowledge. This is where psychology gets fascinating. People who enjoy being alone often have strong self-concept clarity, meaning they know who they are. They don't need constant feedback to figure themselves out. They don't feel lost when nobody is around, because they already understand their own personality, their values, their habits, their boundaries, their flaws, their goals. So solitude doesn't feel like emptiness. It feels like home. And that's why they can spend hours alone and still feel full, not lonely, not bored, just clear. That's extremely rare. Most people don't know themselves. They only know who they are around others. 5. Some people crave solitude because they're mentally over-aware. Now here's the twist. Sometimes the people who love being alone aren't antisocial. They're overstimulated. They think deeply, they feel deeply, they absorb energy fast. This is common in highly sensitive people, introverts, and individuals with high emotional intelligence. Being around people drains them. Too many signals, too much emotional noise, too much performance. So being alone isn't isolation, it's recovery. It's like turning off 50 tabs in their brain, and when they finally return to the world, they're calm again, focused again, like they've rebooted their mind. So what's the big takeaway? Most people can't handle being alone because they've never built a relationship with themselves. They've built a relationship with distraction, with noise, with attention, with escape. But solitude isn't punishment.
It's the ultimate test. If you can sit alone without needing to fill every second, you're not lonely, you're powerful, because you've reached a level most people never will: inner stability. So, here's a challenge. Next time you're alone, don't instantly grab your phone. Sit with yourself for 5 minutes, no distractions, and watch what your mind tries to do. That will tell you everything. If this video described you in any way or made you realize something uncomfortable, subscribe, because on this channel, we don't just share psychology facts, we decode you.